Commence primary ignition.
I'm Aiden Barton. I play Baby Luke and Leia, and you're watching the virtual Cantina Network.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our final intergalactic news desk before things really kick off at Star Wars Celebration. My name is Gary O'Toole. I am from the Irish Star Wars podcast Blab of the Hull, and I am joined by the one above all, Mr. Mark Van Olen. Mark, how are you?
Hi, Gary. How are you doing today?
Our final rodeo before things get underway.
It is it's here. I mean, most of the people on the network, who I would say like my close friends and whatnot are either flying today, flew
Or they're
out
on their way.
yesterday, or they're leaving tomorrow. Some people are already there. We have a whole
Mhm.
thread where people are in Japan sharing photos from like Tokyo Disney and of course like other things that are not Disney in Japan, but that's the one that everyone's like cracking up about as like we went all the way to Japan to go to Disney.
Well, I mean, there's so many options around there. I mean, you can't blame people for going there. And not to mention, there will be a meet-up at some point with ourselves, so
Yes,
that's not to be missed.
that's going to be exciting. That one is on the Wednesday and Thursday
Mhm.
for everyone who's going to be out there to meet up at. There's a meetup at like the Tower of Terror, and there's another one at Star Tours. So it's very exciting. I am getting ready to share the video onto the main page of uh, the celebration group if I could find it. So we're figuring out how to do all this because, as you know, it's just me, you, and a handful of other people who will be here in America while everyone else is in Japan. So we have to keep the network running, which is very exciting, but also like, oh boy.
Yeah, it's just a case of all hands on deck, and we just got to do what we got to do to keep
Yeah.
everything flowing as smoothly as we can.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I've got so much to do
Mhm.
between now and then, but I think we're like in a good place where everyone's got their tasks ahead. We've got so many awesome hosts who are going to be joining on the 5 nights that we're going to be going live. We're going to be covering Celebration Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So the show's 3 days. We have 5 days of coverage. And so we'll be covering the Not So Virtual Cantina and the meetups at Disney and everything on that first
Mhm.
night. And then each night after that, it'll be covering one night of the event. And then we'll have a big wrap up on Monday with everyone. We've got our slides ready in a Google folder, a Dropbox, and people are going to keep us up to date on everything. I'm expecting just an onslaught of information coming our way all weekend, which is so exciting because it'll feel like we're there.
Yeah, and I suppose that's the dream scenario as well, is that the news just keeps coming thick and fast. With it being a 3-day event, we just
Yeah.
need information flow as quickly as possible.
I'm definitely starting to see like the early leaks where it's basically here's the stuff that's going to be shown at the show. Make sure you go learn more. Like people have started posting their products, which is great.
Mhm.
Um, I actually, funny enough, Spencer sent me a screenshot yesterday because there's an email blast, obviously, for Star Wars Celebration, and they sent out one about the food halls. And as I mentioned a few times, Denuo Novo is not going to the show, but I did buy some media spend with Read Pop. We've got a digital scavenger hunt and a bunch of other things, but I also sponsored some emails and an Instagram post or whatever. The email that came through had a thing with the Denuo Novo logo at the top with pictures of our helmets and a link to our website. So
Nice.
that email that went out, I think on Friday, was the one that De Novo had sponsored. So that was very exciting. And I was like, oh, look, it's all coming together. Like it's happening. Like it's feeling really, really real.
Yeah, and I mean, it is going to be a busy time for you with all you have on with the new
hmm
O as well. So people are going to have to stay tuned for everything that's coming up.
It's been an exciting week over to well. So let's talk to Nuo for a second before we
Yep.
jump into celebration, and then I'll shoot that out of the way. Um, we launched our rewards program a couple weeks ago. So anyone who's ever been a customer of Denuo Novo since we launched in 2021, so not a legacy a Novos customer, but if you bought anything from Denuo in the last 4 years, we have your purchase history, and we basically put you into tiers. There's a bronze, a silver, a gold. There may be a level above gold because there's definitely some people who spent like an inordinate amount of money. And I was like, okay, there's gold and gold plus. But right now it's gold, silver, bronze based on your spending. And based on that, you have points earned. And you can use those points to either save money or get free shipping or all sorts of various stuff. You can refer a friend to get points and save money, like any other loyalty program. Kid Robot actually just launched theirs a few weeks ago, right before us, and we're following a similar model. So
Hmm.
that just live. And then we announced our Captain Enoch helmet, which let me tell you, like as far as helmets go, this one's gorgeous. Like I'm so happy with the way this turned out. I'm just now wondering when I'm going to be able to ship the damn thing, given all the tariffs and everything. So that kills me. Is like out of my control, but we just put up the pre-order the week before like the global economy decided to just scream in horror. Um, so understood if people are a little gun shy at the moment. We are manufacturing in China. We will be delivering this year. It's set for Q4 delivery. And then the celebration sale starts on Wednesday or Thursday.
Hmm.
10% off and free shipping. And then the May the 4th event will be right after that. So it will not stop.
It'll keep going.
Yep.
I can't wait to see the Enoch helmet. I know the guys who were part of building it, painting it, so I'm that's what I'm really looking forward to. I mean, it is a beautiful bucket.
Thank you. I am really happy with the way it's turned out so far. I mean, I've seen the first production samples. We've been through the whole process, right? Like
Of course.
when that helmet first came out, and we haven't done a lot of original stuff at Denuo yet because we spent so much time on the Lenovo's back order that we were recreating a lot of the original trilogy stuff, the new trilogy items, all of that. Um, but this one was a new stream of content for Ahsoka and an interesting character that didn't really have a lot of backstory, but had a really cool look, and that's good enough for this collector set, right? Like I don't need like a complicated lore. I just need
Hmm.
like something pretty cool looking. And we sort of went back and forth, like, would we do a stormtrooper zombie? And I was like, you can get a stormtrooper and customize that to your heart's content. But
That's
like, there's
been
only
done
one
till the
Captain
cows
Enoch.
come home. Yeah.
Yeah, like I've seen those already, like on social media, even before the Ahsoka show. Like zombie stormtroopers were kind of a thing. So we're like, let's go with Captain Enoch. It was him or Marok, and we decided like, or Marek. It was Marok, right?
Yeah.
We
No,
we decided,
Enoch was definitely the right choice.
yeah. And then the gold flaking and the paint and everything. Like first, we had to get the references, and we did get like some 3D files. I want to say we had an OBJ or something, and we were able to see good photography, but we weren't able to actually like touch the thing, which is always like, you kind of want to sometimes get out there and like actually touch the helmet and measure it and all that stuff. But we got all that information, all those tech specs, and then made our own 3D file out of that. And then you go into the various stages, and the paint though blew me away. Like our designer did a killer job. The thing that always is the hurdle is, will the factory match the paint that your very professional one designer in America spent hours on? Can they replicate this in mass market, right? Like that's the big challenge. And so when the factory sample came back and it was like a perfect match, and Lucasfilm was like, yeah, this is good to go, I expected it would be a little more iterative. And in fact, it turned into like, let's go. So I was very, very happy with that. And yeah, if in a perfect world, I would have been delivering ahead of schedule. But now I think Q4 is going to be when it happens.
Hey, once it gets there, I mean, it's not an easy helmet
No.
to work around. Trust me, having spoken to the people who built and painted the thing, I know exactly what you
Uh-huh.
guys would have had to have gone through to get done. So,
Yeah.
credit if you can get it out in Q4, because that's no easy feat considering the amount of work and detailing on that bucket.
It's a very precise helmet, because it's so battle damaged, and there's even a thing where like one of the Imperial logos on the side is like a little bit tilted and a little bit scratched, and there's something about it that looks like a mistake. And whenever you have that happen, you have to make the decision of, do you go for pure screen accuracy, or do you adjust it in a way that it's not going to lead people to think that it's an error. And we've in an item like a regular stormtrooper helmet, there are so many of them. You could make the case that like this one matches one of these on screen. It's kind of like the idea with like the hat with the Imperial officers. Some of the brims have 4 rims of threading, some have 5, just because of inconsistencies in the 1977 costuming, right? But they're all kind of canon. But there's sort of a hero version, and they'll tell you like, okay, the preferred version that we're going to use on a go forward is 4 streams, right? Captain Enoch is just one. So it's not like I could be like, well, several other troopers don't have a tilted Imperial officer or Imperial symbol, and we can straighten it out. But like I think we matched it perfectly. I'd have to double check.
Yeah, and trying to replicate Kintsugi as well is not the easiest thing to do by any stretch of the imagination.
No, that idea that it's supposed to look broken and rebuilt when we're faking that with like a paint. I didn't crack this helmet. It is it is a paint execution to mirror. I mean, we do it on the Kylo Ren one, right? Like our Kylo Ren helmet has that same red paint. So
Hmm.
our designers are really good at that. But I'm not good at that stuff. I will full transparency. Like I'll open up my Excel file and I run business, business, and I'm not a designer, so I'm always impressed when one I see the capabilities of the people who are working really hard on this brand, and then when the factories come back and have just the same amount of like care and love and attention for it. Like really, really proud of this one. And for anyone who wants to see it in person, I won't have again. We won't be at Celebration. We will have it at San Diego Comic Con. So we will be there at San Diego, which I'm so excited about because that didn't happen last year. We skipped San Diego in 24, so going back for 25.
Beautiful.
Can't wait. Yeah. And you said the designers who made the Enoch helmet. You and I will have to get in touch after the fact and set up a
Yeah,
conversation.
people might want to listen to our last 2-part interview with Judah Escalante, who may or may not have had a hand in Enoch, but people will have to have a listen just to see about that, and may not be the only person involved in that process that appears. So that's all I can say on that for now.
Oh boy, we'll have to get into that.
Yeah.
Um, Before we dive into any of that, though, we do want to give a little bit of like an agenda for everyone who's joining. Hello, Chris. Chris, you've been really great about coming to all the different news desks. Thanks for joining us. And Jeff is always on. I was actually texting Jeff in a minor panic earlier. We got it sorted out, but it's been like a rough morning for me. I'm like not feeling 100%. And I think some of it is like the stress of leading up to Celebration. So I'm just
Yep.
going to nap for the rest of the day after this. But our agenda for today, we're going to look at the pins from the pin trading. We're going to look at the art show because there's some really great art pieces. We want to talk Andor because the premiere happened last night. At least the first few episodes in England, I think. And I don't know if there was an American thing, but the press is picking up for Andor for sure.
Yeah.
And then any other last minute celebration stuff. That was really pretty much what we had for today.
Hmm. What shall we start with?
Well, I do have the deck. Let's see. I don't remember what I put first at this point. It all seems like such a blur because there's a lot happening on the Texas front, and I really can't wait until we. I know I shouldn't say I don't want celebration to be over. Obviously not. I want to enjoy celebration and every moment of it, and then May the 4th and all of that. But once we clear May the 4th, we're going to be able to talk more about Texas. And I'm spending a lot of time with other members of the VCN on Rebel ScumCon. And everyone will find out why soon. But things are going great on like all things Rebel Scum. It's so exciting. Um, But yes, I wanted to also remind everyone the maps are up on the website. So if you are headed to Celebration, they actually put up like a pretty good map of both the entrances. So from the exterior to see like how you need to enter based on your badge type, as well as the different levels over here, along with the layout of all the different booths and everything. Now, this is really small, but and there's a lot of details in here. But I put it on here because I think sometimes one of the things that can create like the most stress in terms of getting ready for these types of events are like some of the most basic things, like where do I need to be? Like where do I get in line? Like that sort of starting your day that way. Um, can be a little overwhelming, especially when there's like 30,000 people milling about, like taking pictures and sort of hanging out and all of that. And it's like, I want to be in a line and have like a purpose and, metal detectors and whatever else. Like, this actually is really, really, really useful. So I recommend everyone go to the Celebration website and look at this in depth and also identify like where the vendors are that you want to go visit and maybe create yourself a little path. Again, it's nice to have a plan and be adaptable to what changes and build it around your photo ops and your autographs and panels and all that stuff. But you'll have a sense as to where people are. Just screenshot this and put it on your phone.
And it's probably safe to say that the app should be fully up and running now, that everything that needs to be there should be there. Should be being the operative word. Yeah, yeah. You look exactly how I feel when it comes
Yeah.
to the app.
I opened to the app, and here's the thing: I'm not going to the show, so I don't have a ticket, and I have no panels that I can add or any of that. So I'm not getting all of the functionality. But I did message a few people to ask how it was going. And okay, so Chris is saying, Chris, it sounds like you're agreeing that it is up and running and functional. I have heard some mixed reviews as of Thursday. I didn't get any updates from anyone yesterday, but they said that some stuff was in there, some stuff was not. Not all the panels were showing, but I'm sure it'll be corrected by the time the show starts. Like,
It'll
I,
have to
it,
be.
yeah, I can't imagine that it wouldn't be 100% operational. Which every time I say the word operational, I think of Return of the Jedi, right? Like,
Fully operational.
fully operational. So will it be by the time the show starts? I would assume so. Um, has anyone in the chat experienced any issues with the app? If so, put them down there, and we'll talk about it. But from what I could tell, there was just a little bit of missing information. But otherwise, like, it is live. The interface is up. It is set for Japan. The panels are largely in there from what I saw. There is a show map. The thing that I think is tricky is like I think booth numbers are still not associated with every uh, vendor that's coming. So that's the thing. I am not FaceTiming anyone in the air, Chris. You're out of your mind. So uh, one, rude. Two, we have enough aviation issues at the moment. But yeah, three, give the man, let the man sleep. It's funny because like I basically have like a low jack on Spencer because he has a lot of tasks when he needs to get there, and I'm holding things down here. But I like literally saw him going to the airport, arriving at the airport. I met Kathy at the airport. I'm on the plane now. And I'm like, girl, you're going to get kidnapped. Like, there's too much information about where you are. You need to post about where you have been. It's much better to be like, I was here. I was there. Celebrities do that all the time where they're like, oh, yeah, I was at this thing yesterday. I'm going to tell you I'm there now. There's no way.
Just keep it low key.
Yeah, I do that a lot too, where I'm like, we saw a show last night, send. It's rare that I'm in the moment unless I'm sometimes at a concert or something like a Kylie, I was like posting live.
Hmm.
But even then, it was like on the train ride home, I was like, oh, here's a couple of like clips from the show.
Yeah. And maybe
Yeah.
fair to say with this one as well, if there's not a booth associated yet, check the vendor's social media because I think most of them have put
hmm
it up themselves if it's not already updated on the app. So save yourself a lot of time and aggro and go directly to the vendor's social media.
Yeah. I was going to say one of the things that would have been a nice build on the Celebration website is in each vendor's description. Remember, we went through all the vendors 2 weeks ago. So everyone can look at our show from, it was the last weekend of March. Um, we did a description and we put up the information that was on the site. It would have been great if they had a link to like the Instagram, the social media as opposed to the websites, because the
Yeah.
social media is live with news and will tell you like every day when I was at Celebration, San Diego, New York Comic Con, regardless of whatever company I worked for, we posted that morning being like, Denuo Novo is at booth 2112 at Star Wars Celebration from these hours. Come by, we're doing this. That was like the first post of the day, and we would do a repeat of that later in the day, being like, don't forget to swing by the booth, we're doing something, and then it would be like a slightly different message with a different picture. But like that should be like pretty standard fare. So what I would do, if for anyone who is looking for something to do in the air, and if you have Wi-Fi, go to the website and look at all the vendors and then chase down their social media handles and follow all of them on Instagram so you can get in the moment news. And you know they're going to be posting stories too. And in a lot of cases, stories is where you'll find like this is available right now and only now. Or this contest is live, or swing by the booth for this very special lanyard, and we made 12 of them. Like that's exactly how. Like you'll have to be on your phone a lot, which is how we all live anyway. But yeah, I,
And sometimes there can be free giveaways thrown in there as well, or little
mhm,
treasure hunts off the fly on the fly. So it's an unfortunate, it's a necessary evil in that case.
yeah. And Jeff, you are correct that Spencer does have a tracking puck. Um, I was telling someone recently that for the VCN, there's a few of us that probably need Apple AirTags for when we go to Texas, so we can all keep tabs on where we are. Not because we're worried about someone getting like human trafficked or something, but the idea that like where is so and so right now. Um, and keeping tabs of everyone's schedules, and you could like literally put an Apple AirTag on your belt buckle or something, so that like someone could be like, oh, Mark is on the other side of the convention, because we all have jobs that we need to do at that show. That would have been ideal for Japan as well, especially if anyone is nervous about just being in another country. um,
Hmm.
I was reading an article, not to bring down the room, but like of all the chaos with everything going on right now, people like canceling international travel and just feeling really like unsafe about going through customs coming back into America. People getting told they're going to have their phones read through by the government and you shouldn't say anything bad about the government. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so exhausting. People just want to go to a convention on the other side of the world and enjoy Star Wars. And now they're worried about like going through customs or whatever other nonsense just because of the state of the world right now, or they're worried the economy is going to collapse. Like we had a terrible stock market dip last week. That feels a little bit like insider trading, but like you can imagine a world in which that dip kept going, and like people's savings would have been eradicated in a way that like they would have had to cancel this trip last minute. And that was definitely um, a point of discussion a week ago for some people. And just that uncertainty right now is like putting a cloud over everything. Like even Coachella this weekend, people were saying that people were selling their Coachella tickets because they're like, it's ridiculous that I'm spending this kind of money to go to this one event when I should be a little more uh, forward thinking about my money, I guess.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't think it's the end of it by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Chris has a good suggestion here about just turning on your location sharing from your phone. I usually don't have that on for a couple reasons. Mostly because it like drains the battery, and also like, I mean, if if my husband wants to know where I am, he'll text me. But that's a good idea for, especially if you're a solo traveler and you have a few people, or if you're just worried about losing your phone, turning on the Find Your Phone is really helpful. I do think in this situation, like being at a convention like this, the nice thing is with the VCN and specifically our O by oneself like traveler group, you can find people. So you don't necessarily need to feel like you're all by yourself overseas. But I like that idea, and that's something I think I'm going to do when I'm in Texas and probably in San Diego also.
Hmm.
Um, I- the San Diego trip is already like that's in July, and Rebel ScumCon is in August. And San Diego, I'm already getting messages of like, we should schedule this, we should have a dinner, we should do an interview, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, girl, that is 3 months away. I need to live through the next 10 days.
I feel you on that one.
Yeah. Oh, let's keep moving in the deck then. So this is a reminder of everyone to go download to go to the website, look at the maps, and then also download the app. I put all the text on here. There, you don't need to know anything. Download the app, and make sure that everything you're looking for is in there. That's up to date. You can get it in the App Store. You can also get it on Google Play. They also have a Droid Hunt thing. This is the digital thing I was talking about last week. All the details are in there on the website. Um,
Just on that as well, for anybody traveling, beware of QR codes. Not everything, unfortunately, it's something that we have to say. Not everything you see will be genuine.
mm, yeah, I
That's
didn't
the
think of that.
unfortunate. And
Yeah.
again, wear and have an RFID wallet if possible, because that's the exact same reason. But just beware of scanning QR codes.
Yeah, that's a good call. I didn't even think of that. Um, and then we're also attached to our phones at every turn too. And if you do have your money on your phone, you're going to want to make sure you're charged up. Have your multi-pronged chargers along with your what's it called, the
Your
different
power bank.
yeah, you definitely need a battery pack, your portable charger, um, but your voltage adapter to make sure that you're able to plug in Japan. The first time I went to England, I almost forgot because it's England. Like England and America feel like the same, right? You guys just drive on the other side of the road, but it's everyone speaks English. Like we were a British colony. Like there's not a whole lot of different. Like you drink tea instead of coffee. The differences are minuscule, but it is different electricity, right? So I had to get one of those, the three-prong charger thing, and like I forgot to get one beforehand, even though it was on my list of many tasks, and I had to get it at the airport at like an exorbitant fee. And I changed my currency there too, so I was like doubly screwed. I was like, this is terrible. Spent a fortune on this stupid charger and got like a bad exchange rate at the airport. But like those are the types of things where, as we were, I think when we were doing celebrating autographs, we talked about like just general celebration prep, and Spencer had mentioned that make sure you get your chargers all set. The nice thing now is that because all this tech is like relatively universal, like all of the wires that plug into your actual phone that then go into your computers and everything else, that's probably even more important than the thing you need to get into the wall charger, because everyone has now like USB ports and everything.
Yeah, agreed.
Um, let's talk about the art show. So, Gary,
Oh
are
boy.
you an art collector of any type?
Well, Suno is right there on my wall. So yeah, that's a
Wow,
Suno Sanda. Yeah. So yes, I am an art collector.
that's gorgeous. Very much like Thrawn.
Oh, there's plenty of Thrawn stuff around here as well. Don't you worry about that. But yes, I am an art collector, and unfortunately, the artwork in the art show this year, I am beyond underwhelmed by. There's only maybe two or three pieces I think I would go for now. Each individual's kind of style to their own, but for me and some of the other art collectors that I would have chatted to, I suppose it's styles and some of the pieces available in this show would not be ones for us. But it looks like the vast majority of pieces have sold out, which is brilliant.
Mhm.
The artists are going to sell all their prints and make their money, which is the point at the end of the day. But there are some nice pieces in here, but overall, compared to past celebrations, maybe not as excited about these.
I did hear a lot of artists are not going because of the cost of travel, and
Yes.
that really limited the pool of people who we could have included, which is unfortunate. If you're going to be featured in the art show, I'm not saying that Lucasfilm can afford to fly out all these people, but how much could it really cost to fly out like 20 artists? It's not that much money, especially compared to like one major celebrity, right? Like the cost of one major celebrity is probably still more than all of the artists combined.
Oh
Um,
yeah, it would be, but I suppose per each artist they're gonna have to transport all their equipment and their prints and yada yada yada. So there's probably that costing versus that money going towards a big name or some sort of other event.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not privy to all the behind the scenes stuff, but from my understanding is that Star Wars Celebration is not a money maker for Disney. Like it is if in best case scenario, it's probably a break even
Break even. Yeah.
proposition. Yeah, just you don't want to lose money on it. You treat it like a marketing expense, and you get the brand. Like this is a great way to promote the brand, right? Like all we're doing is talking about Star Wars, and if we didn't have Celebration, there wouldn't really be a lot going on this year. Like Andor would be the thing, which a certain subset would be really excited about. Outside of that, like this is a great way to like get all of the fans involved in a huge way.
Yep.
And yeah, I get that there's a cost thing to this. I did want to point out the names of the different artists as well as their pieces, because I put in their slides. These are all up on the celebration site as well, and there is information about how to get your art. So pre-orders for artwork are closed. If you pre-ordered artwork, you can pick it up at the art show on the show floor. head to the pre-order queue at the art show with a copy of your order. You will then receive a receipt to redeem your artwork at the booth. So you
Yeah.
have like a two-step process here. So again, a copy of your order means the receipt that's probably digital, like again on your phone. So make sure your phones are charged. In theory, you could probably print it out also. I like having backups. Like I show up to these things with a folder of my printouts because you never know. If you drop your phone, if you break your phone, like I still get nervous about going to Madison Square Garden with my digital tickets because I was like, well, what if I like drop my phone on the subway tracks? Like, that would be a much bigger problem than not having my concert tickets. But like I like having the tactile backup as well because you never know if something's not going to work, the Wi-Fi isn't going to cooperate. You want everything screenshotted
Yeah.
and saved as well as a printout.
And the one thing that I would say is please make sure that you have a poster tube that will fit your artwork.
Mm,
I've seen it so many times that people go there with their poster tube and it doesn't fit. So just
yep.
please make sure that you have the best ones to get, and a lot of places will sell them, is the extendable poster tubes.
Oh, those are great.
So
Yeah.
just make sure. But also one thing I found is please don't trust the elastics that the artists have. Sometimes they can be quite finicky. If you're able to, make sure you get some double strength elastic that you can actually wrap your print up if it has to be rolled, because a lot of these prints you will not be able to flat pack.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be the thing. They're going to be too big. And they're probably pre-rolled in a lot of cases. So,
A lot of the time they're actually not, because the artist will sign them as you collect it.
oh, of
So they
course.
roll them then and
That.
there. Yeah, so they're not
Mm,
always. So just that's
yeah,
why I state that, just to make sure you do that.
good call. All right, we're going to go through the list pretty quickly because I think at this point, especially if most of them are sold out, I would say follow all these people on Instagram, see what their art's all about. Chris, I did not know Chris about Tracy, but apparently she worked with Tops, so it's possible that I've crossed paths with Tracy.
Yep.
Got a Tops card that you're gonna have Tracy sign, and she has giveaways, so that's very cool.
Delighted to see
And look, she's
Malcolm Tween's piece on the list. He's a good friend of mine, so
oh,
delighted to see
excellent.
him make the list again.
That's fantastic. Well, yeah, let's go through. So the first one is A Hero's Journey, and this is obviously Ahsoka. Anakin's Path by Sunio Sanda, and
Yeah,
then Angel of Naboo by Dawn Murphy. I like that Naboo one a lot. I love Padme, and I think like she somehow gets overlooked
hmm
constantly. Um, Next on the list, Darkness on Umbara by Joe Hogan, Freighters of Fortune by Chris Trevis, Heroes Broken, Destiny Changed by Danny Haas. I recognize Danny Haas. I recognize that style.
yeah.
Um, I've seen his stuff before. The other two guys I'm not familiar with. And who'd you say your friend was?
Malcolm Tween.
Malcolm Tween. Okay. I love the Heroes Broken. Also, I'm just like, aside from the fact that I'm on a big Clone Wars, kick because we're watching the show again. I love all things animation, um, and I just love this stylization. And yeah, I'm a big fan of Ahsoka, obviously. So it's exciting to see. All right. Next one is Love in the Galaxy by Tomoko Taniguchi. Never underestimate a droid by Brian DeGuire, and then Overwhelming Odds by Jonathan Bestline. I love that dark side one on the right.
Overwhelming odds. Yeah, it's a beautiful piece as well. Brian's pieces are great. He has that real sort of classic comic style. I've got a couple of
hmm
pieces of his as well. Really, really nice.
Yeah, his look familiar too.
hmm
Look, I love a chopper. And I need more chopper merch. They just announced the big Lego chopper, and it was like some expensive. And I'm like, I can't do this. My husband just got rid of all this Lego,
It's
which
beautiful.
then, of course, in my brain, I was like, well, it sounds like we have room for more Lego. But like the point is to get rid of stuff, and so I can't with this type of yeah. All right, then we have Peace is a Lie by Candace Daly. That is a really nice picture of Chimere.
hmm
Um, or I guess the Stranger, however we're calling him there. Phantom Menace by Seth Groves, and then Rosho by Akinobu Hara. And we don't see a lot of Plo Koon, so that's interesting that he made the cut.
That's the one that I was going to try and get, but unfortunately, I might have to resort to Evil Bay on that front.
Yeah.
My social media hashtag might be a little clue for that.
um, Next one, Tale of the Rebellion by Joey Mason. The Force, Serenity, and Harmony by Matilda.
It hasn't
Matt.
updated in the deck, Mark.
Oh, I'm looking at my screen over here. The two screen thing is I
There
have
we go.
1,000 tabs open on the other screen, and then The Travelers by Sania Zelen. I've read all of these once, and I didn't figure out how to pronounce them. But Zelensova, and those look like some good Purgles. We all love a Purgle.
Everyone loves a space whale.
Yes, I love the Purgle. I love that I have Purgles, Ewoks, and Lothcats all on one slide. Like if you
Hmm.
had told me as like a 7-year-old that this is what Star Wars would become, I'd be like, yes, please more. This is so ridiculous. We've got kitties, we've got space whales. I always talk about how much I love the Ewoks and how much they mean to me because they were my way into the franchise. So this feels like the natural progression.
I think everyone has a real soft spot for the murder bears, don't they?
Hmm. Yeah. I did see another. I mean, I've seen this meme before, but for some reason it's like making the rounds again, where I guess it's when you say something to your partner when they're supposed to be asleep and their eyes get big wide, like that kind of thing, like that meme's going around, and they were like, "How did the Ewoks have a dress ready for Leia if they didn't already eat some woman who is exactly the same size as her?" And I was like, "They sewed it for her. They sewed it for her out of fabric. It was. They had plenty of time. They're excellent seamstresses. Also, that's the only answer."
Many hidden talents, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. So once we find out that they're like amazing at sewing and tailoring, that'll be the answer.
Yup.
All right, we have Vader with his Imperial shuttle looking gorgeous by Malcolm Tween. Your Path You Must Decide by Trisha. I think I know who this is. Trisha Buchanan Benson. And then
Just
um,
needs to update in the deck.
yeah. Oh Jesus. There we go. Um, and then this one is actually flipped wrong in the on the celebration side. A New Hope by Hidetaka Kenjin. I love that New Hope poster. Like that is very. That is. This is probably the only one in here that is not, I would say, real canon, right? Like that's an interpretation with the Samurai Vader and all that kind of stuff. Like very Japanese and very like not originally like not the original look for sure.
Hmm. Beautiful as well, though.
Hmm.
But yeah, delighted to see Malcolm picked again. Just one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. If anybody's even passing by, just be
Hmm.
sure to pop by him and say hello. Genuinely, just a good all around guy.
How do you know Malcolm?
Uh, I bought one of his pieces at Celebration, and then it ended up a couple of the artists were staying in the same hotel as we were. So Malcolm's appeared on the show a couple of times, and we've just kind of stayed in contact kind of down the years. So just a genuinely really really talented artist, and
Excellent.
his pieces have a very very, I suppose when you see it you know it's a Malcolm Tween piece.
Hmm. Yeah, he's
If you,
got a
if you look
particular
through sort
style.
of his iterations, yeah, exactly.
I'll have to see if I'm following him on Instagram. One of the things I meant to do this week and didn't get around to was one, following all of the vendors on Instagram, and two, following all of the artists. So that is on my list. And speaking of vendors, I see jewelry brands in the chat saying that they have chopper accessories.
Hey, there they are
Girl,
finally, hooray.
yeah, we are going to have a conversation offline because I do need some chopper, and it needs to not be a $200 Lego. Um, I like a small enough scale collectible. It doesn't need to be a mini, but I always reference my little Doctor Who over here. Like this is like the perfect size tenant. It's stylized, it's cute. It's not like an action figure with like 25 points of articulation or anything, but
Yeah.
it tells you who it is, right? And I've got a TARDIS next to him that's slightly smaller. So the scale, I don't care. Like, it shows my love for the brand. I'm in. A little chopper would be cute.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose while Jewelry Brands LLC are here, we should say that they are at booth 2325.
2325. You guys
Yeah,
check them out. One of the things that I was saying I guess it was 2 weeks ago when we were on air, Gary, was like, there are going to be surprises and all sorts of fun stuff happening at those booths that are not like specifically listed on the celebration site, and
correct.
you never
Yeah.
know what exclusives are going to pop up. And some of the best time is like the treasure hunt of it all. Walk up and down and see who's there and see what they're doing and meet some of the creators. Like I know it sounds ridiculous, but you can go have a conversation with like the brand manager from Hasbro. Like he'll be there, like talking about the thing they're revealing, and you'll get to ask them questions about what they're working on. And
Yep.
usually there's only so much they can say, but that's one of my favorite things about San Diego Comic Con. Like I love going over to the Mattel booth and like accosting them with questions about what's coming for like WWE and Masters of the Universe, and they were relaunching Monster High, and I was like, I need to learn everything about this. So like I love that stuff. So definitely go meet the team at Jewelry Brands and all the other vendors. It's gonna be fun.
Yep.
All right, let's see what's the next one. Okay, yeah, these are the last two that were on the site. Oh, damn it. Lost my page over here. Yeah, the Force Arcana by Diane Vesnelis, and then the Daimo of Mos Espa by Brad Hudson. And I know Brad Hudson; he's done stuff for Tops as well. He definitely has a particular style as well.
Hmm.
And I love that we have some Boba Fett in there because I feel like Boba Fett has definitely not a samurai, but a little bit of a samurai kind of feel to him, especially in the new interpretation of his character.
Great to see more Cad Bane and Chrysanthemum as well.
hmm I love me some Cad Bane. I'm so excited he's coming back for Tales of the Underworld.
No
I'm
tubes though.
yeah, I think the tubes are going to be a medical thing. So we're going to get him pre-tubes in a what I will say is like a respectably sized hat before he gets the like crazy crazy hat. So his hat just gets larger as he gets older, and then it sort of like pulls back when we get into the show because I think like live action interpretation needs to be like a little more realistic.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Jeff, yes, please drop off swag. Um, yeah, and also see what booths are giving away stuff. Like booths also have not just merch, they also have swag. Like they will give away things like postcards and patches and stickers and sometimes things like keychains. I love collecting that kind of stuff. I have bags and bags of that crap. And at some point it's like I'm gonna make little gift bags for people to send out. Like because if it's just sitting in a drawer, it's just, if it's not bringing me specifically joy, it may bring joy to someone else. So yeah. Oh, what is Chris saying? Find the North American Star Wars Collector Society table, a 9-piece puzzle patch that you can pick up every day on the hour. Girl, this is a riddle, but I love it. I love that you have to keep going back. So um, you will have to post that on your social channel. And in fact, for Jewelry Brands as well, if you guys want to put your handles, you might not be able to put the at because it may block it as a link, but if you want to just write out like Instagram colon and then the name of your handle, I'll make sure that we follow you guys so we can keep tabs on all of this. And if you direct message me on Facebook while you're at Celebration, if you're able to do that, we will make sure we add you into our nightly news presentation so we can recap what you guys are doing. And I'd love to see the whole 9-piece puzzle, Chris, put together so we can see what it looks like at the end so everyone could go chase it down.
Those puzzle pieces are not
Yeah.
easy to put together. We've put together a lot over the years in
Mhm.
Emerald Garrison and 501 for some of the events as well. They are always insanely popular, but they are very, very rare. So if you are wanting a puzzle patch, get there quick.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, the hat, Jeff, the hat, the hat, the hat. Love Cad Bane. So excited to see him back. Okay, now we're on to pin trading. So Gary, this is where you live. Like if you were going, would this be one of your favorite things to be doing?
Yep.
That's killer.
So
How
this
many
is what. So
how many
that's the
pins do you have?
entire. So that's the entire collection from Star Wars Celebration in Orlando.
I'm gonna switch to the other view real quick. So you can show where is it? Can I get the actual can I do this correctly? I don't think I can. Let's try this. Okay,
There we
that's a
go.
little better. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not perfect, but
so there's a look at it. This is what I recommend everybody do is a simple shadow box. So piece of cardboard with some colored felt over, and each time you get a new pin, actually lock it in place. Buy the cheapest of cheap frame, which does not cost a lot of money at all, and bang, super easy for transporting. And then when you put it in your case, you can break it down if you want, but while it's in the frame, it will avoid damage and it keeps everything tucked away neat and tidy. Probably the
yeah,
most cost effective way to display your pins.
yeah, for sure. Put them a little closer to the screen because I want to see some of the characters and slide to the. Yeah. Oh, I see Thrawn. There he is. Leia, Han, Luke. There's a bunch of great characters. The C-3PO. Oh, there. That Obi-Wan is fantastic.
Yeah.
Old man Obi-Wan. Is that
You're
Sabine? I see
It is.
Chopper.
It
Oh,
is. Yeah,
very nice.
correct. Yeah, that's
That's
the entire
cool.
collection.
Yeah. I really do need to get just like one Rebels set. It doesn't need to be comprehensive across all the various iterations and all that stuff, but at some point I'm going to need to uh, get myself a Rebels situation going. All
Hmm.
right, I'm going to go back to this. So the official pin trading situation in Japan, they have the rules and the guidelines. So I'm just going to read what it says on the website so everyone's aware of what's going on.
Actually, sorry,
Um,
Mark. Before we
yeah.
jump into that, did I
Mhm.
see on the list that Jason Palmer art is also going to have a stall? He's
I
not
don't.
there. I don't think he's there as an artist, but I think he has a booth. It's just something we should be mentioned because Jason is an incredible artist. He's the one that did the large Star Wars banner where it's basically Pierce Brosnan as Thrawn.
Oh yeah, yes. I know who you're talking about. Um, I didn't see him on the website, and this is one of the problems, right? Like I think the website is not super comprehensive. How do you spell his last name?
It's Palmer.
Oh, Jason Palmer. Yes, Palmer, Star Wars artist. All right, I'm gonna pull up his Instagram. Um, Jason Palmer Art is his Instagram. Uh, I wasn't following him. Oh, that's weird. He's got almost 17,000 followers. Let's see. He's got an Andor piece up. Let's see if he has anything on here about going to Celebration. Oh, he has some good Firefly stuff.
Yeah, I could have sworn he had. He had. I seen him have a stall as an exhibitor.
Oh, weird. I don't remember seeing him on the list.
Yes, he actually is. I just pulled it up here.
Is he on the vendor list?
Yes, he's on the exhibitors list.
Oh, excellent. Okay. I don't remember seeing him. Um, Oh, maybe the artists are not part of the art show, but they're the
Yes, he's
vendors.
just
Okay.
exhibitor. I think he just has a booth. But yeah, people should definitely not miss going to Jason's booth.
Hmm. Let me go into exhibitors because there are a few other artists that were called out as well in the exhibitor list. Um, yeah, James C. Mulligan,
Yep, Jimmy Mulligan is a Disney artist. He does a lot of a lot of stuff.
Jason Palmer. Yep, I see him now. Michael Golden, Eva Inc. I don't know them. Is this a new one? Did we do Robot last time? I'm telling you, they've updated the site, but like you can't tell. I don't remember seeing Robot. What is
I don't
Shop Robot?
either, actually.
No. What, and I'm going to click Shop Robot. Oh, this is weird. It's t-shirts and collectibles. All of a sudden, there's like a new vendor.
There
So
you go.
guys, check the website. Double check everything. Our information is outdated. Ah. It looks like most of it is the same. Yeah, but Robot, I'm seeing on the list now. Yeah. I don't think there's. Did I miss any other artists? I think those are just the three. Okay, great. All right, back to the pin trading. Okay. Join the Galactic Exchange of official Star Wars Celebration Japan pins with staff, crew, and fellow attendees throughout the weekend. Purchase official Star Wars Celebration Japan pins at the Celebration store. So that's where you can get started. Find other attendees, staff, and crew wearing lanyards with pins and ask if they're participating in the pin trading. It can happen throughout the event with anyone. And then the guidelines. Only official Star Wars Celebration Japan pins can be traded with the staff and the crew. So you can't give them old stuff. You can't give them non-Star Wars. You can't give them Celebration Anaheim to get new Japan pins. For safety, only trade one pin at a time, and then make sure you ask first and don't touch anyone. So again, consent, permission, and you have to assume a lot of the staff, like maybe English isn't their first language. So be patient, be kind, be clear. And there are some pins that I think only the staff have to start with.
Yes,
So
correct. Yep,
it's
you'd
going to
have to
be.
trade with
I
them as
actually think
well,
the pin
depending.
list is really cute. Yeah. What do you think of the pins this year? There's definitely some new streams of content, so that's good.
Yeah, I love the kind of cartoony, artistic style. You know, it's always great each year where the pins have never looked the same. Every celebration is different. I think that just adds to collectability as well. You know, you don't want the same artist producing the same stuff over and over again, and that's why just as important with the pins is the celebration badge artwork as well, what
Hmm.
people will be looking to
Yeah,
collect.
yeah, those are. Oh, without a doubt. Like everyone wants a badge. Those go up on eBay with the same ferocity as like actual collectibles, like the badges. You can't quite make your money back, but you can definitely get a portion. If you don't care about keeping your badge, you could sell it not quite for the value of the badge, but in some cases, like the VIP ones and stuff, like go for big, big money.
They go for huge money. Like at Celebration, I was lucky enough. Paul Shipper did the artwork, and I know Paul, and Paul gifted me a set, and I seen some of them on eBay go for hundreds of dollars. I mean, maybe just under 1,000. I've seen them go for with the
Crazy.
VIP and everything else in included. Yeah,
Oh boy. Oh, meanwhile, Jeff is saying it's almost time for him to check into his flight. Girl, it's happening. Spencer's already in the air. Meanwhile, I was joking. I was like, we're like the royal family. We can't travel together. Everyone needs to be on separate flights. So we were coordinating, and as we were coordinating for Texas, I was like, I'd like to be on a different flight, please. Just also just cause. Um, but yeah, everyone is getting ready. And then hopefully when you get there, you get to trade some pins. I right off the bat, like I love the Ahsoka set. As you know, we've got Chopper, we've got Hera. I think everyone is going to want Balin and Shin, especially with Balin. It's going to be the one to get this year. I think the Acolyte set is probably the one that people will be the least interested in, unfortunately. But I do love Jackie. And she had such a breakout moment as an actress this year, being both in The Acolyte and being in Deadpool Wolverine. So, you know, she has a long career ahead of her, and breaking out of being like a child actor, like now growing up, which is exciting.
X-23.
Yeah.
You know
Um,
what surprised me though? I thought they would have done a Quimir and a Stranger.
yeah. Oh, it looks like they're only doing 4 from each stream,
Yeah.
which seems a little light. But again, it's a 3-day show. You know, we can't be doing hundreds of pins, and there's too much to collect already. And then going into some of the classic characters, there's a Death Star escape set. So this is obviously from A New Hope. We've got Vader, we've got Han, we've got Obi-Wan, we've got a Stormtrooper, and then on the lanyard that comes with like on this, I guess it comes with the lanyard is C-3PO. So that's the one that gets you started. So we always love a classic character, and then we get into the Mandalorian characters. We've got the Armorer, we've got Bo-Katan holding the dark saber. Grief Karga. Again, that's 2 now, 2 actors who are no longer with us, which is really sad
Yeah.
recently. And then Mando himself in what looks like his sort of earlier Beskar armor. And then there's also a limited staff trader. So this one will be begin trading with attendees at the start of the weekend. Staff trader pins are limited and available while supplies last. It's the Loth Cat, and of course, it's the one that I would want the most. So that kills me. But I don't know if I'll be able to get my hands on a Loth Cat pin.
You'd be surprised how much staff want to actually trade. They're probably trying to complete their collections just as much as you are. So, you know, if
Oh,
you
I'm
see a
sure.
staff member, ask the question.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If they're anything like the actual crew at Disney, they'll be very agreeable. Like pin trading at Disney, we did that for a few years, and we got some cool stuff that way. Um, and then, oh, did I put in the Mando stuff twice? I did. I put in the Mando characters twice. There's also a Jabba the Hutt. Didn't want to lose out on them.
The little
We've
Salacious B. Crumb is brilliant.
so funny. I'm sad there isn't a bib. Is my only thing. And then we've got the mystery packs. So there's 2 packs with mystery characters. So Blind Bag, Akbar, Boba Fett, Ezra, clearly from Ahsoka Ezra, because he looks like Jesus there. Um, Grogu, Mace Windu, Padme, Palpatine, which is very Darth Sidious Palpatine. He's got the red lightsaber and everything. Rey, looking more like Force Awakens. We have the Vision. I love that they just put Visions instead of the character name, but that's obviously the
I genuinely
Ronin.
think the Ronin pin is one of the best looking ones out of the lot, to be honest.
I agree. The black and white, just like the action figure that Hasbro is doing, which we
Hmm.
thought was like the breakout character.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, all we want is the Ronin. Like, I agree. I think he's the best looking one.
Hmm.
I'd rather, as much as I loved live action Ezra, I'd rather animated Ezra. I don't know, this collection, this assortment is really random. Um, and like now, if you told me Asajj was in here because she had just had her series, or Barasafi, or like you could replace some of those other deeper cut characters. Um, yeah, like why is Mace Windu in here? Is he coming back for a stream? Like, what's going on? Um, but it's an eclectic mix for sure.
And no doubt they'll all go quick as they always do.
Yeah. So that was really the new news around the show, or not the new news, but the stuff that we hadn't really covered here. So the pin trading, the artists. Is there anything else we want to get into before we sort of recap um, everything else to get ready for?
Well, we did get some news for the gamers amongst us.
Yes, I have a slide on that.
Yes.
Where did I put it? I'll come back to all this stuff. Um, there it is. Okay. Outlaws. So you love Outlaws.
Yeah, Outlaws was brilliant. Outlaws was a real surprise, and the first DLC for anybody who played it was effectively a DLC focused on Sabak and Lando. So this now is Pirate's Fortune, and unless we are being double bluffed, we know who the guy behind Nyx is. So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with that. I think something Hondo centric would be
Mhm.
amazing. It's been a little bit of a gap between the DLCs. I thought we would have had something like this a lot sooner, but it's finally here, and what a better time to show it off at Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah, I think this is the right. You know how I talked about how there needed to be big announcements from the major licensees at this show? Like, this is the right idea. You're going to have the perfect audience for this because I think, like, in the general framework of video gaming right now, this might get lost at any other time. But at Celebration with this particular group, and maybe they'll bring in the actors. Like Jim Cummings has been doing the voice of Hondo for how long?
And he did say he was doing something Hondo related that he didn't talk about what it was. So whether it's this or
Mhm.
whether it's an extension to something else, we don't know.
Yeah. And apparently they're filming more footage for all things happening in the parks. And he's already the voice of the Hondo animatronic in the theme park.
Yes,
So if more of that is coming, because I was telling someone, I was like, the thing about Smuggler's Run is that it's not Han's ship at the moment, it's Hondo's ship. And that's like a big part of the story. You're
yes.
still on the Millennium Falcon, but it belongs to Hondo. Hondo has a lot of schemes running at all times. His fingers are kind of everywhere. There's a lot of streams, and he's always playing multiple sides. Like you could just keep building around Hondo. You could have him walking around at the park. Like it doesn't need to be an animatronic. We could have a costumed character. You could tell me that he's involved in anything happening. Like he could cross paths with Rey. He could cross paths with Princess Leia. Like it doesn't really matter. You could just kind of sprinkle him everywhere because it's like kind of believable that he's always lurking in the background with some scheme.
He's effectively that believable that he's unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. So this is exciting. I'm not a big gamer, as you know. Like I think I told you that I watched Jedi Fallen Order on YouTube. I bought the game. I felt very proud of myself. I bought the game, and then my
Hmm.
husband and I both did like the opening level where you have to like basically slide down the thing. It's like the training thing, right? And we were like that bad. They were like, "Oh, we'll never play this again." So it was like we paid our money. Let's go watch on YouTube the story play out, and that was how we did it.
But still, it's nice that you were able to at least dip your toe in and actually see what it's like. But agree with what you're saying. This could potentially go by the wayside because we are getting the conclusion to Fallen Order.
Mm, yeah.
Now, we haven't seen anything with that, but I can't imagine there won't be something like that at Celebration. But I just hope this goes off. And I mean, plus getting to see D. Bradley Baker as Nyx again is always good fun.
D. Bradley Baker is like one of the pillars of Star Wars at this point,
Yeah.
voicing so many characters in Clone Wars, in
Hmm.
Rebels, in Bad Batch. He's in the Young Jedi. He
He
plays
plays
Nubs.
Nubs. Hmm.
Yeah, like this man is everywhere. He's in the video games.
He's
What
Nyx.
can't he do? Yeah, what
Yeah.
can't he do? So it
Hmm.
is wild. So I'm hoping that he'll show up in Japan. I don't remember him being on any of the lists.
Mm-mm.
But in theory, you can imagine him showing up as a media guest, like, or at least sending in a message or doing a voice for something, because he's like he's prolific in the saga at this point. He's also just very cool. We got to hang out with him a little bit at Rhode Island Comic Con, and he's just lovely. He signed for us. signed autographs for us when I was at Tops like pretty frequently, and there
Hmm.
came a point where as his character list started growing, we were like, what else can we get this man to sign? Because like it was already like pretty significant. I guess 10 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever it was, and now it is tripled since then. It seems.
And long may it continue.
Yeah, exactly. Let's keep having him keep bringing him in for stuff. And I do hope that like when Outlaws comes out, it gets like a big pop and everyone gets really excited. And I hope that we get another, to your point, the Jedi series, some type of announcement. Like I'd love to see Cameron Monaghan pop up. Um, I don't know about you, but my Instagram this morning, there's a cosplayer. I forget his name. He's got red hair and he does like a really good
Cal
Cal
Kestis.
Kestis. Yeah, and he was in the audience at London, I guess, where Cameron Monaghan came out on the stage in his poncho, and he threw the poncho to the guy, and so like the cosplayer, it's Chest or something, um, has the poncho, and then he got Cameron to autograph it and everything. I was like, that's cool. Like that's what
Hmm.
the show is about,
Yep.
right? Like that's what these moments are, where someone from the saga, you're going to get to have a moment with them of some type. They're going to recognize your love for the franchise, and like the love just like flows back and forth. Like that's what it's supposed to be.
That's it in a nutshell. It's not. It's about the experiences and the people you meet. Nobody can ever take away the memories from you. No matter what happens at these events.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, the panel list, meh, whatever, this, that. Like, there won't be a lot of announcements. Like, we're certainly not getting any updates on that Ray movie. Like, they're barely talking about that, right? But they're going to lean in on probably things in the Ahsoka Mando verse. So, and you know what? Either way, it's about hanging out with friends. Like, I'm most disappointed about missing the Boonta Eve or the Not So. Like, that's the
Of
thing
course.
that I'm most like that I wish I were going to. But you know what? We're going to do it in San Diego. We're going to do it in Texas, and we're going to do it in Rhode Island, and
Yep.
that'll be just as good. All right, let me slide back. I know we're giving away everything over here, but just a reminder of what's coming up in the next week. Obviously, there is a lot going on outside of the show, as we just mentioned. We are invading Japan. We're going to be at Disney. There's a meetup on Tuesday at the Tower of Terror. On Wednesday, there's a meetup at Star Tours, and I hear their Star Tours is slightly different than ours. So hopefully, we'll get some of those same scenes.
Hmm.
And then the Not So event is coming up real soon. Brought to you by Hyperspace Props. Thank you again to everyone over there. They make those awesome sabak chips, and you can save on your order using the code NSV, uh, NSVCSE, Not So Virtual Cantina Special Edition, 10% off. And if you're worried about making your way over to the Not So Virtual Cantina event, Mike will be your valet. So just meet in the lobby
Dressed
of the
exactly like
hotel.
that.
Yes, we got to get him the hat. I haven't seen the hat yet, and he's already in Japan, so we're gonna make sure uh, that he gets situated. And as a reminder, we announced Katie O'Brien as our headlining guest for the Not So event, which is awesome. And then we have our family portrait happening on Saturday at 5 o'clock. There will be people reminding you, but like put this in your calendar. Saturday, 5 o'clock, family portrait. Um, they do it. We do it at all the big events. We always take a big picture and it'll be all over the social media. We'll of course cover that on our nightly news. Okay, so here's the new news. Andor had its premiere. I don't know a thing about what happened yet, but this is the show schedule for Andor. So they're basically dropping 3 episodes each week, as we've talked about, for 4 straight weeks. And the way we're covering it on the network is we're going to do 2 watch-alongs. So there's going to be a Thursday watch-along for the first 2 episodes, and then a Friday watch along for the third episode with more wraparound content across like covering the arc as it were. So the Thursday night crew is going to remain the Thursday night crew, which is basically Spencer, Dave, and Jeff. And every now and then, like someone else will pop in. The Friday night crew is going to be me and one of our newest hosts on the network, Sarah Barnes, who you've probably seen on Daughters of the Galaxy. She's popped in on some of the other shows. She was on the watch along a few weeks ago. She and I are going to be helming that one with some help. We're going to be pulling in some additional hosts as well, but that's going to be our Thursday, Friday cadence. And that will make sure that you can enjoy all 3 hours of content Tuesday and Wednesday. Watch the first 2 again on Thursday, and then watch the final episode of the arc with me and Sarah on Friday, and we'll do like full coverage kind of thing. So, are you ready for Andor, Gary?
Yeah, I am. I think we just need something now to bridge the gap. I mean, getting a new animated series was great, but I think this sort of discord over what's happening on the big screen is just becoming a real pain in the ass at this stage. So anything that sort of plugs that gap until we get to the next stage of where we're headed is a good thing. But put it this way, it's Tony Gilroy. We know what to expect. We probably have no idea what we're going to get based on what they're saying. As Diego said, when you finish watching this, watch season one again, and it will totally change your perspective. So
Hmm.
I've no doubt that they've got something special cooking with this, and I'm really excited to see the Goran massacre. I think that's gonna be
Yes.
the highlight for me, how they bring it into canon.
I was telling someone I'm so excited to watch all these people be viciously slaughtered on screen. It's because we've been hearing about it for so long, and we've read it. Like there's and if you go to the Wikipedia, they give you like a very detailed like here's what's actually supposed to happen, and of course like we'll see how it translates. But it is going to be um, overwhelming, and I think it's also going to be really heartbreaking. There's something about this show coming out today. As opposed to a year ago, 2 years ago. Like if it had immediately followed season one, there was a sort of different feeling 2 years ago. And now I think like the feeling of this moment of like April 2025 with Andor season two coming back, and we're going to get back into the discussions of like, how do you run a resistance? How do the various political conversations happen? Like, what are your ways in which many disenfranchised people have to work together at a common goal, even though they usually don't have common interests, right? Like it's always Mon Mothma versus Saw Gerrera, not Mon Mothma and Saw Gerrera versus the Empire. Like, and that's, I feel like a lot of people are becoming aware of those things in the real world. So I expect that this season is going to have a different type of resonance than the first season. Anyone who ever called the show boring, now that we're living in it, I think it's going to be a, a little bit of an eye-opening experience, especially when you go back and watch season one and be like, oh, right, like this is weirdly predictive. So I'm I'm horrified and excited and like a little overwhelmed because I love, love, love this show so much, and I'm sure that it's season two is going to be even better than season one. But I also don't want it to end, and I'm like sad that it's not going to be a 5 season affair.
Yeah, likewise. But I think having Mendo back as well is enormous. But I suppose it begs the question again, like what happened with Rogue One. I don't suspect Mendo is going to be the big bad at all. I still think, despite what's going on in the background as we talked about with the Tarkin stuff, I don't see why it's not possible that guy Henry couldn't show up again, or perhaps Vader himself showing up in some way, shape, or form. I truly don't know, but there's big interest in Ireland for this one, particularly because we've got Irish actresses in two
Hmm.
pretty dominant roles. So
Genevieve.
Genevieve amazing, but
Yeah.
Denise Goff as well as Dedra Miro, so she's
Yeah.
amazing as well. So
I
long
need
may
to
long
meet
may that
her.
continue.
I need to meet her and I need to meet Kyle and I need a photo with both of them because
Hmm.
they are actually my two favorite characters in the show, right behind Mon Mothma. Like Mon Mothma is like so as I do my Star Wars ranking of like top characters of all time, my top 10 is really weird and it fluctuates a little bit, but like Mon Mothma is always in my top 5. Duchess Satine is always in my top 10. Like I have some really weird ones in there, and people look at me like I'm a bit nuts. And I was like, no, you just have to look at the like longevity of the character in all the forms of media, and you understand like why Mon Mothma is so important. And like Genevieve just crushes it at every turn, and that's no knock on Carolyn, right? Carolyn, she was in like 90 seconds and like made that character really have a moment. And then when the ball was passed to Genevieve, we thought we were going to lose it, right? Because she was cut out of the Revenge of the Sith theatrical cut. And we were able to get that little deleted scene, but then they cast a different actress. It was Kath Soucie who did the voice in Clone Wars. But when they brought her back for Rebels and Rogue One and everything, I was like, oh man, like they accidentally struck gold 20 years prior when they cast this lady and didn't know what they had. Like this woman's incredible. She's such a force. I was watching some of the behind the scenes stuff because after doing Daughters of the Galaxy, where Sarah was talking about the behind the scenes and Tony Gilroy's stuff, it's all up on Disney Plus, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
go watch all of it. These scenes where he has it framed, where it's like Mon Mothma is sitting on a couch, barely moving, talking to other characters, sitting on a couch, barely moving, and like the tension and like everything that goes into those scenes are like even more compelling than the giant space battles and all the other stuff. Like that lady carries this show in a way that is like almost unfair to everyone else. Like because she's so good. I mean, Cassian is amazing too. Diego Luna is incredible. But like this is Mon Mothma's show. It's kind of wild how like it's really like the Mon Mothma hour every week, and I'm like, where is she? Is she not when she's not on screen? It's almost like that thing with Poochie. Like when she's not on screen, can everyone ask like, why isn't she on screen? Like she should be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mon Mothma is obviously a hot topic of conversation right now, considering the latest book trilogy is all about Mon Mothma. I mean, Mask of Fear
Mhm.
from Alex Freed, and they're leaning into her heavily. So I can't see this being the end of the character development. Maybe on the big screen, yes, but that doesn't mean there isn't other avenues that they could explore with the character.
Yeah, no, please. And I need this lady. Look, you're Irish. I don't know who you can email in government over there to be like, look, we need Genevieve O'Reilly to visit America. We will put her on the tour circuit. She will make a splash, I promise. Like, there are plenty of people who need Rogue One posters signed, who need Rebels items signed, who will find Mon. There's not a lot of Mon Mothma merch,
Uh-uh.
honestly, but there's like a Funko Pop, and that's enough. Once you have a Funko Pop, you can tour the planet. That's it. You're in a Star War and you have a Funko Pop, she can sign multiple posters. So we're ready to go. And she can even sign Revenge of the Sith. Like it's the 30th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, which I know we talked about last week. How everyone seems to have forgotten that Revenge of the Sith is having a significant anniversary this year. Lucasfilm is doing nothing with it. She could sign Revenge of the Sith posters. She recorded for that. It's on the deleted scenes. We had her sign autographs at Tops all the time as that version of the character. So I would add her to my Revenge of the Sith poster. But yeah, she could make a killing if she went out on the road.
Yeah, I'm genuinely surprised she's not on the con scene more. Maybe it's just not her thing. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Look, I get it. It's very overwhelming. And she's also from the original, I shouldn't say the original, but the prequel era. So we'll call it like phase two of like women in Star Wars. Um, None of them had great experiences with the fans. And so I understand like I remember we when I was at Tops, and I won't use names, we reached out to several women who were in the prequels or in Clone Wars or earlier than that. There weren't a lot of women in the original trilogy, but we are like, oh, would you like to do a private signing or go on the convention circuit, do a public appearance or something? And in general, like the public appearances were kind of the things where like, not really. Like maybe we'll consider signing cards or something, but we don't really want to put ourselves out there because the fans are terrible. And that came from multiple women. So it's the kind of thing where I was like, oh, once you hear something once, you're like, oh, maybe you had a bad experience you yourself. Then when you start hearing it over and over again from a particular slice of people, like, is it possible that she maybe had some of that same experience? I hope not. But now with this new stream with Andor and everything, and there being like a better gender balance across the streams of content, hopefully that has shifted.
Here's hoping.
Yeah. Oh, Sherry is saying that Denise Go has something coming out. So
Yep,
Denise
Stolen Girl.
Go has a mini series coming out on Wednesday on Disney. I didn't know anything about this. Do you know anything about this, Gary?
No, I just know it's been released. That's it.
I'll have to go check it out. I like her. Um, Also, Jeff is pointing out the time frame of Andor over here. Yeah, we said 2 hours. It's easily 2.5, maybe three for um, that first stack. So it is it's going to be something. But that's why we're breaking up our watch-alongs into two different nights. So join us on Thursday and on Friday. So as soon as we get back, it'll be the boys on Thursday, the core trio, like I said, and then Sarah and I on Friday with some guests along the way. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And we talked about our outlaws, and I think that's everything. Just a reminder that next week our programming is updated quite a bit. We don't have a Clone Wars Revisited. We don't have a Daughters of the Galaxy. We're clearing the deck. It is celebration discussion only. We still have happy hour on Tuesday, so join us if you're around. I'll be running the happy hour Zoom for all of those left behind. It's like something out of what's that show? Where they the leftovers, all of us who are left behind will be hanging out here in the Zoom chat on Tuesday, and then we'll be live Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday with coverage from the celebration event. And in some cases, we're going to try to get people to give us updates in the moment as they walk in, since they are 14 or 13 hours ahead of us timeline wise. They'll be walking into the show at 10 a.m. as we are on air at 9 p.m. The day before, since they'll be in the future.
There we go.
Yeah. I think that's everything for this week. Anything else we got to add, Gary?
Nope, that's it. I think if you're almost ready to go, you better go off, get packed, get a good night's sleep, and get to it.
Yeah. Don't forget your passport, your Sharpies, your poster tubes, like Gary said, your plastic poster covers, right? Your what else do you need? You need your backpack, all your good stuff, your cosplay, and there's cosplay changing rooms and things. Don't forget to look into all of that. There's a lot of last minute prep that I'm sure everyone is doing right now. But most importantly, be safe, have fun, have a great time. Please post on the Facebook page from the show. With everything you're doing at Celebration, that's why we created this group. That we want to see everything you're getting up to. And have a blast. Meet everyone else in the group in person, and just enjoy this limited amount of time we get with each other in real life. Because most of us don't live anywhere near each other. Like, that's the hardest part. Is like some of my best friends like live in completely different states. You know, so we've got to enjoy this time while we have it.
Yeah, absolutely. As we said, it's the company and the atmosphere. That's what makes it.
Yeah. All right, well, with that, wishing everyone who is going to Japan safe travels, and for everyone else who's staying behind, be sure to check into the Virtual Cantina Network on all our social channels. We'll be keeping you updated. Join us on the Facebook page Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday for our nightly news coverage. And everyone else, have a great week ahead of you. As always, may the force be with you.